Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My name is Jerry, and I'm hailing you from the Antari shipyard. And today we're going to be talking about one of the upcoming faction packs. This is the big one. These Are The Voyages. This pack is meant to kind of celebrate 10 years of Attack Wing. A very, very long lifespan for this type of game. You can see I got the pre-order information pulled up here on WizKids is in their site of their store. It does retail for $49.99, which is about $10 higher than the other faction packs. But that's for good reason. This comes with a lot, and we'll definitely dive into that. So, we did just recently find out that on the vendor side of this website, we do have a release date. It is February 21st of 2024. So it should be hitting stores that day. On these pre-orders, if you pre-order them through the WizKids shop, will be getting sent out, hopefully starting that day. So let's dive into this. Before I get into these images of these cards over here, let's take a look at the models that are coming in them. So to celebrate the 10 years of Attack Wing, they are coming with these nice gold-plated displayable models, is what they call them. But let's get a closer look here. So very, very nice, very reminiscent of the Ready Room ships that were just kind of hanging up there in both the Enterprise D and E. Most of you probably remember that from when Picard slammed his phaser rifle into the cabinet and broke all his tiny ships. But that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to get my hands on those. Even if I don't play with them, they probably will get displayed. Next, let's go ahead and let's read the description here. So it says, celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Star Trek Attack Wing with These Are The Voyages faction pack. As players can warp into the games with new updated versions of each version of the USS Enterprise from the game's history. Take command of 5 special golden display versions of 5 different Federation ships. So we're getting a gold NX, we're getting a gold Constitution refit, we're getting a gold Excelsior, a gold Galaxy class, and a gold Sovereign class, with each of the famous crews and captains of the Enterprises. New actions, new cards, and a unique multiplayer mission await, with many more surprises. So we got a list of the contents here, and it's going to be nuts. We've got a lot of things going on. So we've got 10 double-sided ship cards. So we're getting 10 ships, 10 named ships in this game. That's insane. 15 captains, 2 admirals. Sorry, I'm taking notes here. We're getting 48 crew upgrades. 6 elite talents, 7 weapon upgrades, 7 tech upgrades, 4 question mark upgrades, 1 ambassador, 5 construction cards, and then looks like 5 reference cards, 5 maneuver cards, 7 special tarot-sized cards. So that'll be interesting to see what those are. 1 mission insert, and then of course all the other tokens that come with it. So let's take a look at the cards, and we're going to start with the ships. So we kind of know what we're looking at in the ships here. So we're getting an NX-01. We're going to get the original Enterprise. We're getting an Enterprise B, a D, and an E. So with these being double-sided ship cards, take note that that's only 5 out of 10 right there. So that's 5 out of 10 ships. So we're definitely going to get another named NX. We're going to get another named Constitution refit, which is probably going to be the A. We're going to get another Excelsior class, which I would almost bet it's going to be the Excelsior. We're going to get another D, another Galaxy class ship, and we're going to get another Enterprise E. Well, not another Enterprise E. We're going to get another Sovereign class ship. So I know you guys probably want to read what's on the NX-01. The rest of them we can't really make out. So let's read the NX-01 really quick, and then I want to point out something on the Enterprise E card that I've noticed and has been since kind of confirmed. So the Enterprise NX-01 Federation NX class, you may equip the Federation prototype construction card, ignoring its restrictions, and even if this ship has a different construction card equipped. So basically, you're allowed to have 2 construction cards on this ship. This ship may still perform any actions listed on the Federation captain or each Federation crew equipped to this ship, despite the presence of any aux power tokens beside it. So kind of a play on what the original one was. Kind of more updated. I kind of like the wording. So we know the Enterprise itself is going to do something with maneuvers and primary. Enterprise B kind of got something in here. But right here, this is kind of what I wanted to point out. So I had this sneaking suspicion that the Enterprise E was going to be a flip card, because it mentions the other side. Now, normally, these cards are, I don't know if I have any, I don't have any on my desk, but traditionally in these newer packs, the cards have been double-sided with the generic on the reverse and the name shipped on the other side. However, if you're telling a player to flip this card to the other side, it doesn't make sense for there to be a generic on the other side. This has been since confirmed in a Facebook comment. I'm not going to name names here. You can go find it. That this is indeed a flip card. So we are getting 2 versions of the Enterprise E, and they will be able to work with each other, so you get to flip the cards around. Alright, so let's look at these other cards that were provided, and then we will get into the fun part. So these are 3 elite talents right here. So we've got, these are the Voyages, Explore Strange New Worlds, and To Boldly Go. So making a play off the famous intro lines of Star Trek. This is 3 out of 6. So you can bet you that they've got at least 3 more that'll probably complete the whole spiel. I'm pretty excited to see that. So these cards we can read a little bit more clearer, and I'll let you guys, if you want to pause the video, you can pause it here and read these cards, or you can go to the WizKids store page and you can pull them up. Here, I'll do this real quick. There you go. There you go. And there you go. I think it's safe to say that all of them have a Federation Captain lock on them, just for what they are. So now, let's do some fun. So, these are the Voyages, what we know. So, I don't know if anybody spied, but on those cards that I showed off, it showed the number totals, which have been confirmed that those are the true totals. So we are looking at 115 cards in this pack. What else do we know? We know that the release date is 2/21 of 24. So just in a few short weeks. So we know we're getting an Enterprise NX-01. And then we're just going to get a Federation NX class. Just because we already know the generic's going to come with it. We're getting the USS Enterprise. And then we're going to get a Constitution refit. Oh, I misspelled Enterprise up here. There we go. Refit class. We know that's coming. We know we're getting a USS Enterprise B. So we know we're getting an Excelsior class. We are getting we are getting a USS Enterprise D. So we know we're getting a Galaxy class, and we're getting a USS Enterprise E, and we're not getting the generic Sovereign on that one, just because we know that that one's going to be a flip card. So a flip card. Okay. So we know we're getting 10 ships is what it says. So 10 ships. So we can name them here. Well, 10 named ships. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So I have it on pretty good authority that we're getting a Columbia NX-02. I don't have any solid evidence or proof of that, but I believe that that's going to be the case. How do I want to do this? I think we're going to take all of these and we're going to put them somewhere else. Let's put them below everything because we know that we're getting generics. That makes sense. Excelsior class. Let's go ahead and do this. Galaxy. Boom. And we probably will get a Sovereign class, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's get that out of here. Get these out of there. Out of there. Okay. Let's separate this. Perfect. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Columbia NX-02. That's probably going to happen. Same with the Constitution refit class. I think we have a pretty good idea of what the ship's going to be. It's going to be the Enterprise A, which was a Grand Prize ship, so not a lot of people have it. So this will be one of the perfect times to pull that out. Same thing with the Enterprise B. That was kind of a pack that wasn't in very productive in production for very long. So it's kind of a rarer pack. But I believe that we're going to get an Excelsior. Because the Excelsior is one of those that is due for... It's really overdue to be redone. The crew, the ship, everything on it just needs to be redone. And then we're looking at the Enterprise D. So we know we're getting another Galaxy and Enterprise D. This is kind of where it gets tricky. So there are a couple other Galaxy classes out there that they could do. Mainly the Yamato is one. But I personally don't think they're going to go that route. I think they are going to kind of do what they did in the last faction pack, and we're going to get the USS Galaxy. We're going to get the prototype ship. We're going to get that one that can have these construction cards that they're coming out with. Now, if I know this correctly, I think we're at 9. And we're at 9, so that means we've got one more named ship to go. Now, this one is kind of a beta cannon grab, but it makes sense. I have kind of been tipped off about another captain that's in this pack that's coming. That's a very, very fan favorite. He's been asked for a lot. He just hasn't been able to get fit in anywhere. And this is kind of the perfect place for that. But this is going to be the USS Atlas. And if you don't know what the Atlas is a Sovereign class starship that is commanded by Captain Morgan Bateson. So it looks like and sounds like that we're probably finally going to get our Bateson card. And it's going to be a beta canon version of him when he was commanding the USS Atlas, following the Enterprise E's first mission out, the Shakedown Cruise. So that is 10 ships right there. And then, of course, we're going to get the generics on the other side, except for the Enterprise E flip card. It's a lot. It's a lot going on, but it's going to be crazy. So, beyond that, what did we have? 15 captains. 15 captains and 2 admirals. Okay. So, we got to think about who... I mean, we already know some of the captains. It's not hard to figure out, right? So, we know we're getting a Jonathan Archer. And if we go down the route of, hey, you're getting the Columbia, then we know we're getting a Hernandez. I don't know if they'll use her first name, because I believe her first name, if I remember correctly, is Beta Cannon. So they may not use Erica Hernandez. They may just have to use Hernandez. But moving on to that, what's the next ship? We've got the Enterprise. So we're talking Enterprise. This is the TMP version, so the motion picture version. So I don't believe we're going to get a Christopher Pike or a Robert April. But I do believe that we will get Willard Decker. They just may shorten it to Will Decker. So I believe we'll get a Will Decker, a redone Will Decker. We'll get a James T. Kirk. This is probably where the Admiral comes in. Right? So Kirk can be both Captain and Admiral, so he can fulfill both roles. Gosh, we'll probably get another Mr. Spock Captain. He's overdue to be looked at again. Moving over to the A, we might get a Pavel Chekhov. And now I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why would you get a Pavel Chekhov Captain card? Remember in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, when everybody went down to Nimbus 3, Chekhov was technically in command of the Enterprise for a minute. So that can be where that comes in. What are we getting after that? We're getting the Excelsior classes. So we've got Enterprise B, which is going to be John Harriman. That one's almost a dead giveaway. And really, we don't have any other captains from that time period that we know of. So he's probably going to be the only Enterprise B captain that we'll get. Then we're talking the USS Excelsior. So we're going to get a Hikaru Sulu. We might get a Styles, who is the first captain of the Excelsior. So what does that put us up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts us up to 9 captains. And we're moving into the Enterprise D. So, this could be good. So we know we're getting a Jean-Luc Picard. That's happening. Jean-Luc Picard. We might get another William T. Riker. But I wonder if we'll get an Edward Jellicoe. I wonder if we'll get a new Jellicoe card. Because the card he's got in the game now isn't that great. So I'd really like to see that. Plus he took command of the Enterprise D for a hot second. We might see... We don't have anybody that we know of that was on the Galaxy that was on screen. So they may fill that void with a Donald Varley, the captain of the Yamato. I think that would be a good call there. Going over to the Enterprise E, of course, again, we're talking Jean-Luc Picard. So he may get 2 captain cards in this. Possibly. Who else took command of the Enterprise E? We know Riker did. That's not a surprise there. Man, we're missing people. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. Oh, we've got 14, so it's possible that we might get another captain up here. I mean, we could get a T'Pol, a Fed version, or we could get an A.G. Robinson, maybe. More likely in the crew, I would think. But that'd be interesting to get. So that is 15 captains. Um, the admirals are a little hard to nail down. I think James T. Kirk is pretty much a lock for an admiralship. Picard won't get an admiral out of him. Same with Spock, probably not there. In beta canon, Harriman does become an admiral, so you could get a Harriman admiralship. We know Jellicoe had become an admiral, so it's possible that we might get a Jellicoe admiral. Or I could be off base, and there could be another hidden admiral that we're getting that I just am not accounting for. I'm trying to think of all of the admirals that we've seen in the movies, minus Enterprise. Well, we could be getting a new Forrest. That could be a thing. We might get another Forrest admiral. Although, typically admirals also have a captain in the pack. So that's interesting to think about. But none of this is set in stone, right? This is all speculation. So I could be very close. I could be way off base. Either way, just know that I'm very excited for these packs. I'm very excited to be making a video like this. It's kind of one of my favorite things to talk about is the speculation part. So we also know, and I'm not gonna break down like the 6 elite talents that we might get, or the 7 weapon techs that we might get, or the 7 tech upgrades, because the library for that is huge, right? I can't narrow those specifically down. But what we can do is try to go through some of the crew upgrades. And there are going to be 48 crew upgrades. And that is a hefty, hefty amount. So how do we figure out what crew upgrades we're getting? Well, if we read the post again, it says that we're getting each of the famous crews and captains of the Enterprise. So the crews of the Enterprises are pretty much on lock, right? So let's start with the NX. We're talking T'Pol. We're talking Malcolm Reed. Charles Tucker III. What's Mayweather's first name? I can't think of Mayweather's for Travis. There it is. See, it came to me. Travis Mayweather. Whoa, Travis Mayweather. Okay. Then we got everyone's favorite Empress, Hoshi Sato. Phlox, can't forget about him. I'd really like to see it. I doubt it. Let's do a Porthos, shall we? Give me some Porthos. So what other side characters we may see? Are recurring characters from Enterprise that were... What... Man, I am trying to think of the engineer's name that took over for Trip when he moved over to the NX-02. Shelby? Was that his name? Shelby? I think so. So you got T'Pol, Reed, Tucker, Mayweather, Sato, Phlox. I think that's it for really the NX-01, other than some unnamed crew that we've seen. They could, pull out all the stops and go with the botanist that was having that liked Phlox. That could be, kind of an out there character. Seth MacFarlane's character that made an on-screen appearance real quick. They could pull that out. Again, this is where they could do an A.G. Robinson, maybe. They got a lot that they can do here. So what else? What else do we want to... let's move on to the Enterprise. So, again, we're talking the motion picture era. So, obviously we're going to get Leonard McCoy. I don't know if we'll get him Mr. Spock. I think we'll get him as a captain version. But let's not forget about Ilea. Nyota Uhura. Do we get a crew Sulu? I think it's too much to ignore. I think we'll get a crew Sulu. I think we'll get a crew Chekhov as well. Man, who am I forgetting? Montgomery Scott. So we'll get another Montgomery Scott. Seems to be a theme around him. Getting a lot of him lately. I think that's it. I may be missing one, and if I am missing one, then I'm going to be very foolish. I think Savick is a pretty good one. Valeris would be a good one to have. Any other bridge crew that I'm forgetting? Nope. Ilea, Savick, Valeris. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the. I think that's pretty much all of the bridge crew from the Enterprise. Enterprise A2, if we're talking Valeris. There really wasn't any in Final Frontier. They could bring the scientist that came back from to the future from the past, from the 1980s in The Voyage Home. That would be kind of an outside throw in there. She hasn't been represented in the game. I mean, you could do a David Marcus. What else has been associated with them? I mean, I would say you could do a Carol Marcus, but I feel like David Marcus is a lot better of a card to put in there. All right, let's move on to the Enterprise B, which we don't really have that many crew. We know we got Demora Sulu. And that's really it. I don't know if the other ones are named. Moving over to the Excelsior, you got Lojor, Dimitri Valtane, Lojor, Valtane, Janice Rand. Let's get some Tuvok action in there, because we do know that he served on the Excelsior thanks to Voyager. So let's get some Tuvok on there. Those three, I believe, are the ones that we know. You could add what's his face's role, the kid that woke up Sulu in his quarters. You could add him in, and that'd be another kind of oddball one to throw in there. Let's see, what else? That's really it. So go into the Galaxy classes. Now we're talking, William T. Riker, Data. Come on. Data. We're talking Worf, Deanna Troi, Beverly Crusher, Geordi LaForge. Okay. I'd be remiss. We gotta have a Wesley Crusher in there. We gotta have Wesley Crusher. Maybe we'll get Ro Laren. That'd be kind of cool to get a Federation version of Ro Laren. That's kind of been a want that I didn't realize I wanted until recently. Who else are we missing? I think that's really it for the Enterprise D crew. Data Worf. Oh, yeah. I can't forget Miles O'Brien, Starfleet's greatest engineer. So he's one. Maybe we'll get a Keiko. Who knows? That could be an option. Move over to the Enterprise E. We're going to see a lot of the same faces. Maybe we'll get a Daniels, the security chief that took over for Worf, that kept getting bumped out of his position because Worf wanted to come back for every single movie that they had. That's really it. So I know we're nowhere near 48. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So we're up to 34 out of 48. So again, not solid. This is all speculative. But I'm pretty excited for when these packs come out. And hopefully you guys are too. You can pre-order them here on the WizKids store, or you can pre-order them through your local store if they still take WizKids product, especially Attack Wing. I know it's kind of harder to find out there. What do you guys expect to come in the pack? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like our videos, give us a like, give us a subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard.